This is Todd Stashwick, and you are watching TrekCulture.
Hello, my friends. How are you? How are you? So, we have been through the Academy news. We have been through the Lower Decks news. We have been through the Strange New Worlds news, which means it's time for Section 31. Now, there's some really cool artwork for Section 31 that's actually been released, and we get some great shots of our characters. I have to open by saying the shot that they've released of Philippa Georgiou, she's got that dagger up against her knife. Everyone else thinking the Green Ranger playing that musical dagger? Because I know I am. And I mean, if you're telling me Emperor Georgiou has a dragon sword, I am so there. Now, we have a shot of Casey Roll as Rachel Garrett looking like she's about to pull a phaser, which, in fairness, if you're going to be hanging out with Section 31, that makes sense to me. We've got Robert Kazinsky's Zeph, who looks like he's ready to go toe-to-toe with anyone in a biomechanical boxing ring. Omari Hardwick, Sam Richardson, and Sven Roygrock all look like they're more or less ready to just kind of jump out and start going. Love the fact, Sam Richardson again, love the eyes, because we all know what that's about. Commonoid. The one who really made me smile the most, well, other than the Green Ranger dagger, was Humberty Gonzalez's character. Right, so we know that she's playing a Deltan, and they've released this artwork of her, beautiful and bold, with a white dress, and she's blowing pink bubblegum. To me, this seems like such a deliberate kind of visual cue, if you like, for Ilea in the motion picture, who had, of course, that very practical white dressing gown, bathing gown dress they put her in, with the crystal on her throat. So that's what I get from that. I personally was really looking forward to this one because we know so little about Section 31. We know it's a feature film, we know that it's going to be released to streaming on Paramount Plus, and we know it's going to be about, well, Section 31. And of course we know that it's going to be starring Academy Award-winning actor Michelle Yeoh, reprising the role of Emperor Philippa Georgiou, or whatever title she's calling herself these days. Brilliant. The teaser that was released at SDCC was so free of any kind of details. You know, we've got little bits here and there, but we still know next to nothing. What we do know, which is a big deal, is we now have a release date for the film. Yes, director Olatunde Osunsanmi confirmed at New York Comic Con today that Section 31 will be released on January 24th, 2025, direct on Paramount Plus. Brilliant. Let the countdown begin, and we'll let the mad speculation continue. That will be continuing right up until the day. Because what we didn't get is another trailer. So we did get artwork, so I am excited about that, and we do have, you know, some pretty interesting things were said on stage. I don't have another trailer, so right now we still only have that teaser to go on from SDCC. I reckon that will change probably not too long from now. I am probably no closer to understanding what the film's going to be about. But what I did enjoy very, very much was that we had on stage Olatunde Osunsanmi, Robert Kazinsky, who I think I'm now a little bit in love with. We had Casey Roll, and we had Omari Hardwick. And then, dialing in as a surprise, we had Michelle Yeoh herself, who I felt that this really was a surprise. Seriously, I was watching it being like, you know, oh my gosh, Michelle Yeoh, and they were like, yeah. It's like they put her on hold. I was like, you don't put the Emperor on hold. It was a bit funny in that respect. I'm not going to lie. She spoke to how excited she was for this project in particular. And you know what? I believe her, because this is a project that could so easily have died a death. You know, the character comes in season 1 of Discovery, comes back season 2 of Discovery, and obviously we have her a little bit in season 3 of Discovery, but Michelle Yeoh's star has just gone astronomical since then. For availability alone, if this was to have disappeared, I would have been very sad, but I think I would have understood. When it got to the fan questions part of the panel, someone said, you know, if this was to go to series, what's your availability? Michelle Yeoh was quick to say, I've always been available for Section 31. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, because it didn't feel like I have to say this because I'm on camera at a Comic-Con. Like, it felt genuine. And the excitement I got, and particularly from Robert Kazinsky, also Omari Hardwick, but particularly Robert Kazinsky. These are people who, Robert Kazinsky is a Trek fan right the way through. But these are people who clearly have enjoyed what they've done. I thought Casey Roll who was playing Rachel Garrett, I thought probably gave the least away about her role in Section 31, other than she's Rachel Garrett. That suggests to me there's a lot to say that she can't say yet, because the others were a little bit freer with, you know, kind of what they're gonna do. Omari being the most free in describing his role. In fact, he did say that as Alok Sahar, he has a grudge and a reason that he particularly wants Georgiou to make amends. And that was interesting because, as far as we know, this is set in the Prime Universe, not the Mirror Universe. So why would he have a particular grudge against Georgiou, who, as far as we know, hasn't done anything particularly naughty in the Prime Universe? Although saying an evil emperor despot hasn't done anything particularly naughty, I think we're working on different scales here. He described his character as being something of a babysitter who also felt like he needed to be babysat and that he wasn't ready to be in charge. It just came across so well. One of the questions was about how would his character Ghost from Power see his character Alok from Section 31, and he joked like, well, Ghost always wanted to take his brand into the galaxy, so it would only work perfectly. Yeah, I get a really good vibe off him. Yeah, but I know so little about it so far. I really would have loved a trailer, I'm not gonna lie to you. And especially because, you know, so little about Rachel Garrett at this point. It was very, I have to say, it was pretty nice when Casey Roll did a shout out to Trisha O'Neill, who of course originated the role of Rachel Garrett in Yesterday's Enterprise. And she spoke about how she rewatched that episode, not in terms of imitating the performance, but in terms of encapsulating where she was going to get to, where Rachel was going to get to, and you know, how she could kind of sprinkle seeds of that through her role. Because the moderator asked, you know, describe why your characters are so unfit for Starfleet. And of course, well, Rachel Garrett goes on to captain the Enterprise. So I mean, she's pretty fit for Starfleet. And that was, you know, Casey was like, no, she's pretty fit for Starfleet, I'm not gonna lie. But what she did say is that she will learn things in this film that will contribute as to why she is so fit for Starfleet. I think for us as fans, Robert Kazinsky probably spoke to a lot of our questions about Section 31 as an organization. So Robert Kazinsky has been a Trekkie. He said he dated himself by saying, you know, he grew up on the original series films. He said he could, you know, quote The Next Generation. That they joked about how Casey Roll introduced him to the humming sound of the Enterprise D as sleep sounds. I mean, and we all then joked on a call being, yeah, does anyone not do that? Anyone here? No? Okay, cool. All of us, brilliant. That was just fun just to see him like geek out. You know, he's a Trekkie who gets to be in Star Trek. Not at all jealous, Rob. Not at all. Rob described his character, who we now know is called Zeph, as basically being the muscle for whatever Alok wants him to do. He said, Alok tells him to go somewhere, he will do it. Whatever it is, the answer is yes. We've all wanted someone like that in our lives, haven't we? Especially when it comes to lifting things. I am not good with lifting things, I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't ask me to lift something, I'm probably gonna drop it. I will, however, support you in lifting it. Zeph does not seem to have that kind of issue because, how do I say this nicely? Rob Kazinsky is built like a brick shithouse. You can see that in the teaser as well, you know, with all of that mechanical stuff all over him. Now again, we stress, not Borg. He's not Borg. He himself put out an Instagram post saying, not a Borg. Good, because I'm Borged out for a while. I think when you see any machinery in Star Trek at the moment, it's like, is this the Borg? He spoke to Section 31 as an organization. This was actually it was a brilliant fan question, and I do implore you, I mean, all of the panels today, if you haven't had a chance, do check them out on YouTube. But it was this idea that has had a lot of discussion in the past of where does Section 31 fit in Gene Roddenberry's view of the future. If this future is supposed to be a utopia, why do we have, they use the phrase, the CIA policing the future? Rob volunteered himself for this answer. He said that, you know, when Section 31 was introduced, you know, back with William Sadler in the episode Inquisition, it was very jarring and it was a little upsetting, to be honest, to see this branch of the Federation. It's not the Tal Shiar, it's not the Obsidian Order, this is the Federation having this kind of secret police. But he highlighted the fact of it was Deep Space Nine, the context of the show, that allowed the birth of Section 31, if you will. And I completely agree with him. He spoke about episodes like In the Pale Moonlight, But he then referenced an episode which I think is the impetus for Section 31. I'm pretty sure Ira Stephen Bear said as much. And it's the Maquis, where Sisko says, "It's easy to be a saint in paradise." That version of Section 31, that shadowy cabal that we know from DS9, is perhaps antithetical to this idea of a utopia. What Rob hoped was that this movie would help to shine a light on why it needs to exist. Not necessarily in, we're the ones who'll make that problem disappear before you even know, which could be a part of it. That there are elements in the fringes of the Federation that if they were left unchecked, there would be no utopia. And that can be a disappointing message, if you like, but I do think it's a realistic message. And I think he actually delivered it in a very positive way, in a very upbeat way, that he seems to see Section 31 less as the secret police and more as a sort of a shadowy protector, if you like. We don't know what year Section 31 is set in. So if we say, I'm going to say 2310, I'm just picking that number out of the air, okay? Inquisition is set in the 2370s. That's still 60 years to go from silent protectors to shadowy cabal. And as we know, we've seen in real life, things change over time. Things along the way. The 23rd century, when you look at it, pretty dark. We got the Borg. That was one thing. We got Klingon wars, we got Romulan wars, we got the Tomed incident. Oh my God, we need to cover the Lost Era. Things like that will change a group. It seems like the Section 31 that we're getting in this film is an early-ish version of that. Now, of course, they were asked, if this does well, are we going to get a series? To which they answered going, well, if it does well, we hope it will. It is in all of our best interests to support this film, because this is a proof of concept. We can do long-form, long treks. This is the next Star Trek feature film. The only difference being it's arriving on streaming. I am excited. I'm really interested to see where it goes. Michelle Yeoh seems to be fighting for this as well. I think I'm going to put my trust in the Emperor. Oh, that's a phrase that's going to come back to haunt me, isn't it? Folks, thank you so much. Right, January 24th, Section 31 movie releases. It's going to be released on Paramount Plus. We will, of course, be bringing you more information as we get it. We'll be bringing it to you. You are brilliant. You are awesome. Please go back and check. We've done breakdown for Strange New Worlds. We did Lower Decks, and we have done the Academy news, and there was more news that came out of NYCC as well. I am now going to go and get some food and maybe pass out for a while. Please show some love to our editors, Eddie and Chris, who I know whatever time you're watching this at, they probably haven't slept yet. So please send them some love. And also, you've got Jack Kiley will be coming to you with article write-ups of all of the news that came out of NYCC this weekend. Thank you very much. Live long and prosper. I will see you very, very soon. And we'll be talking about a new film before too long. Thanks very much.